let me first thanks to the organizer. So this talk is in the interface between the particle physics cosmology, slightly different from the earlier talks. Okay, so the main idea of this talk, if we have a BSM interaction between the standard model fermion and the light mediator, then the light mediator faces several constraints from different experiments like laboratory experiment, cosmological observation and astrophysical observation. So our objective is here to identify the region of parameter space where the cosmological observation ineffective, I am talking about the ineffective coming from the Planck data put a stringent constant. So this is a cartoon figure in the plane of mediator mass and the coupling. So this red line is our point of interest. So it corresponds to the ineffective upper bound from Planck data, and the left region is this figure from the Planck observation. Okay. So let me start this figure. This is very well known figure to all. So it shows the history of the universe across the different epochs. So in this talk, I mainly focus the epoch between after BB and 2 recombination, where the temperature is spanning from few MeV to EeV. So during this period, neutrinos are decoupled from the thermal plasma, and this phenomena associated with the parameter called ineffective is defined as the energy density between the neutrino bar and the photon bar. And Planck 2018 data precisely estimate this ineffective value at CMB assuming lambda CDM cosmology. Okay. So let us discuss our understanding of an effective based on the standard model particle physics. So this is the effective interaction associated with the neutrino and the electron positron. So at the high temperature, let's assume the temperature around 10 MeV, neutrino and photon both share the same temperature. As temperature drops, universe expands, the weak interaction rate fall faster than the electromagnetic interaction rate, and therefore neutrinos are decoupled from the photon bar. So at temperature below electron mass, the electron positron entirely annihilate to the photon bar. So therefore there is a rising behavior here in the photon temperature compared to the neutrino temperature. If you go further lower temperature, so then this ratio becomes saturated. So once you know this ratio, then you can find out what is the value of the ineffective using this simple expression. So within the standard model, it turns out 3.043. So therefore we have the Planck observation and the standard model prediction. It shows that there is an additional contribution to an effective which is around 0.28, and that indicate the scope of new physics. Now the question is what kind of new physics can accommodate this additional and effective contribution. So there are different approaches addressed in the literature. In this talk I will discuss the non-standard interaction of neutrinos and electron positron with the light gauge boson. So these light gauge boson are the very popular candidate in the context of the particle physics, and they arises from the various anomaly free U1X models. So these are the very popular U1X model studied in the different aspects of the particle physics. So what we have done, so instead of considering individual model, we start from the generic U1X model, and as you know, there is if we consider specific charge assignment, that leads to this all anomaly free U1X model. Okay. So therefore the presence of the Z prime, so this is the relevant interaction for our discussion, and here Z prime form a different bar along with the photon and the neutrino bar, and Z prime act as a bridge between the neutrino and the photon bar, and it's also try to maintain the energy density neutrino and the photon bar via the scattering and the decay. So this is the temperature ratio plot. So the blue one, as I discussed before, this is the purely standard model one. So the presence of the Z prime, so it corresponds to the red one. So the presence of the Z prime, neutrino bar temperature increases compared to the photon bar temperature. So therefore this ratio is decreases, and that leads to the larger N effective value. Okay, so now we will try to understand how the generic the parameter, the U1 generic U1x model is important deciding the N effective value. Okay, so this is the important parameter. So since we are talking about the light gas boson, the mass and coupling is important, and since we are talking about the generic U1x scenario, so this x1, x2, x3 plays a crucial role deciding the value of N effective. So this x1, x2, x3 is associated with the first, second, third generation of the lepton in the standard model. Okay, so let's discuss this plot. So this is the N effective variation of N effective as a function of the coupling. If it goes, with the increase of the gas coupling, the N effective value increases. So that is because your interaction rate increases. And this header region is disfavored from the Planck data. So it shows that this plot shows that the higher couplings are basically disfavored from the Planck observation. Okay, so there is a very important points in this plot. So this particularly in this blue and the green line, so that corresponds to x1 not equal to 0. So that means this interaction is present. So if it goes from blue to green line, the effective charge dx times x1 increases from 1 to 3. So therefore the green one is the higher N effective value. On the other hand, for the case of x1 equal to 0, when this interaction absent, I mean the Z prime interacting with the photon bar is absent, so then it shows something peculiar behavior. So this is because in the lower coupling region is purely decay, and the higher coupling region there is a competition between scattering and the decay. So therefore, depending on this x1 number, one can categorize this the all U1x model two category. In the first category, when x1 not equal to 0, that means Z prime do have the T level interaction with the electron positron, and these are the U1x model fall in this category. And in the second category, where x1 equal to 0, where Z prime doesn't have T level interaction, this interaction absent, doesn't have the T level interaction with the electron positron. However, they can interact with electron positron via induced coupling, surface induced coupling. So these are the U1x model fall in this category. So for our discussion, we consider all type of U1x model. Here the green highlighted one corresponds to x1 not equal to 0 and rest of x1 equal to 0. So let me discuss one of the important outcome here. So this is the plot, the N effective, delta N effective, variation delta N effective as a function of the Z prime mass. So with the increase of the Z prime mass, the N effective contribution is decreases. So this is because at the higher Z prime mass, the number density of Z prime is self-suppressed. So again, this shaded region is basically disfavored from the Planck data, and it shows that lower Z primes are disfavored from the Planck bar. So here you can see the three distinct lines, and with these three distinct lines you can generalize all U1x model basically considering the particle features. In the lower one is corresponds to x1 equal to 0, and the middle one corresponds to x1 equal to 1, and upper one corresponds to x1 equal to 3, and these are the corresponding U1x scenario. If he goes for a given Z prime mass, if he goes from lower to upper, so the x1 value increases, that means the effective coupling x1 times gx increases, so therefore the N effective also increases. So this is the plot. Here we plotted the N effective upper bound in the plane of mz prime mass and the coupling. So this red line is the ineffective upper bound from Planck, and this is our point of interest. And the left shaded region, the red region is basically this figure from the Planck data. And in order to compare how this constant is relevant for compared to the other existing constant, we showed some laboratory constant. It shows that there are some region the ineffective put a more stringent constant than the others, like the middle this region and this region. Okay, this is the case for B minus 3 LE. So what is the difference between from left figure to right figure? So here x1 charge changes from 1 to 3. So therefore this red line shifted towards the higher mass, higher mz prime mass, and accordingly the other constant also changes, and same for the other two scenarios. Okay. So this is the case for x1 equal to 0. Here also we plotted the ineffective upper bound, that is the red dash line. So here as I said, x1 here x1 equal to 0, but z prime interact with the electron positon via induced coupling. So if you allow some non-zero induced coupling, it's behave some peculiar behavior. That is because as I mean the competition between scattering and decay. So with this I would like to summarize. So we start from generic U1x scenario, and then we come to the different U1x model, and each U1x scenario we identify the exclusion region or ineffective upper bound in the plane of mz prime and gx, and these U1x model are widely used in the particle physics community. We hope these bounds are highly relevant, and the futuristic bound like CMB CMB are expected to put a more stringent constant on the parameter space of the light gas boson. Thank you. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Purushottam. Time for a couple of questions.
Hello. On slide 11, is shown 4 plots. And first plot, we have epsilon 0, and we do not see any z prime dependence on z prime. And the next plot, we have some peculiar behavior.
Okay.
So would you?
Yeah. So it's a it's a good point. So the first plot, so there, as I said, x1 equal to 0, there is a no T-level coupling with the electron positon. This is the first point. And the second point, when you consider epsilon equal to 0, so there are even no induced coupling with the electron, loop level induced coupling. So there is a no coupling to the photon bar. Okay, so therefore the whole energy density of the z prime entirely annihilate to the neutrino bar. So it's basically 100% branching. So therefore there is an independent behavior in the GS coupling. So there is 100% branching. So it's there is no other branching available in the bar. So therefore is an independent behavior. On the other hand here, so here is the induced coupling. Always this is suppressed, but due to induced coupling, so you can see here this is the independent behavior. Again there is a variation on Gx and mz prime. So that is again because there is a competition between the decay and scattering at the higher coupling. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Just speak into the microphone.
So mass of this Z boson, are you getting the mass by using standard Higgs mechanism?
This image.
So this is the U1x symmetry breaking. So
Yes, yes.
this is additional U1x.
Yeah, how do you get this non-zero MZ prime? Because this is the gauge boson.
Gas boson. So
Yes.
in order to get mass of the Z prime, you have to break the symmetry of U1x. So this is apart from the standard model symmetry, there is a we consider U1x symmetry.
So you have to introduce another
yeah.
X into the system.
Yeah, another Higgs. Yeah, you need an additional Higgs,
Additional.
additional singlet scalar.
Okay.
That's basically.